Hello guys, I'm Tessie One Life from Edo Realty here in Nigeria, and today I'm gonna be talking about land titles and how you can understand them before you go on your journey on this real estate investment. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in so I can make this video very short. Okay, from up top, usually the land belongs to the government, but this doesn't mean that the families or the people who live there don't have any rights or ownership over the land. So what usually happens is that the government excise a portion of the land to that they are not using or have plans for anyway, and also that the indigenes might be living in. They excise a portion of this land and give it to them. So now what happens when that happens is that the person that the land has been excised for now has ownership over the land. So this means that this person can now process documents to perfect the land title to his name. So when the land has been excised to someone, that you can now say the land has been excised, and then the title of that land is government excision. This particular title is a strong one because you know that when the government has excised a portion of the land, they're not going to come back tomorrow and say they want to collect it. So it means it's free of government acquisition. So when you hear government excision, then it means that it's a strong title and you're free. Okay, so the next one is the gazette. Usually when the excised portion of land is recorded in the book called the Gazette. That's the official government official record where the government keeps all records of lands in the country. Okay, so when the excised land has been gazetted, it means it's been recorded in that book. So when you hear a gazetted piece of land, it also means that it's a strong title. But there's a catch. If you're buying a piece of land that says it's been gazetted, you want to make sure. Usually, these piece of lands, they're usually in acres. They're usually large portions of lands, and you might not be buying you might not necessarily be buying in that quantity. You might be buying one or two plots or even 10, which is small in comparison to a particular piece of land that has been gazetted, for example. Anyway, okay, so when that happens and you're buying one plot in a huge piece of land that has been gazetted, you want to make sure that the portion they're allocating to you, that plot that you're buying, falls within the coordinates, because usually the gazette contains the coordinates of the land that has been gazetted. So you want to make sure that what you're buying falls in that coordinates and not outside of it. Because if it falls outside of it and that place that you're buying, if it's not free of government acquisition, then obviously there's a problem there somewhere. So that's the catch for the gazette. And that's the reason why I didn't mention it in my previous video. Okay, so I've mentioned the government acquisition and the gazette. Okay. So now, for the excised land, if the government excise that piece of land to family A, for example, they can decide to perfect it in their name, and then they now get the document called the certificate of occupancy. That's the C of O. This means that that particular person has ownership of that land for the next 99 years according to the Nigerian law, and only one person can have a C of O. So when you hear C of O, obviously you know that from the beginning of the story of that particular piece of land, it's free of government acquisition. That's also the reason why these strong titles are usually very expensive. Okay, so when that family A that has the C of O wants to sell to family B, obviously the family B cannot have a C of O since only one person can have it. But that family B will have what we call the governor's consent rather, pardon me. According to the Nigerian law, you can't sell you can't sell that excised piece of land, for example, now to somebody without a governor's consent. So when you hear governor's consent, you know that it means somebody is selling a strong piece of land or a land with a strong title to another person, and the governor is approving it. So this also brings us to the next one. That's governor's consent. So now we have excision and gazette and C of O and governor's consent. So real quick, let me mention the um, court judgment. Okay, so sometimes a group of people might be arguing over ownership of a particular piece of land. This could be two families or two individuals or the government and a family or whatnot, and the case will now have to be settled in court. So when you hear court judgment, it means that the court has ruled in favor of one person. Obviously, the court will rule in favor of one person. Court can say two of you are the owners. Okay, so when that court, when the court judgment comes from a Supreme Court, it's a strong title. But if it comes from a high court, then you want to find out. Usually, when a court judgment comes from high court, there's a window period where the other party is allowed to appeal for the case. And when that appeal is going on, you know that, okay, the case can still turn either way. It can be here or there. So if someone is telling you they have a court judgment from a high court and it's still within that window period, then you know that at the end of the day, the land might not be the owner. The person you're buying from might not really be the owner of the land, right? So you want to find out. That window period is usually like 90 days. So irrespective of the courts, if it's over 90 days since that court judgment was issued, then you're free. But if it's less than 90 days, you want to find out, is this Supreme Court? If it is, you're free. If it's not, then you just maybe you hold on a little bit. Okay, so I think the only thing I've not mentioned now is excision in progress. Sometimes you might hear excision in progress. This means that they have started the application for that excised piece of land that I mentioned earlier, but the papers have not arrived yet. This is because it takes a lot of time and money, and Nigeria, our country. So when you hear excised piece of land, okay, I'll go into details about this later. Sometimes it might be safe, sometimes it might not be. But some persons might not be able to avoid buying an excised piece, a piece of land that says excision in progress because of their budgets. The excision in progress titles are usually cheaper. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking in more detail about the excision in progress, so you know how to protect yourself if that's what you're going into. Okay, so just one more time, let me list them all again. We have the excision in progress, we have the gazette, we have the C of O, we have the governor's consent, and lastly we have the court judgment. So I hope I didn't leave anything out. If I did, or you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. So that's gonna be it for now from me. Bye.